he invited me out to this, and just the story just came up in a random conversation. Um, it happened about 25 years ago. I was 12 years old, and I was visiting my grandparents in Pendleton, Indiana with my brother. We had already been there one night, I believe, and the next day, late in the morning, I went to the upstairs bathroom to take a shower. And I showered, stepped out of the shower, and wrapped a towel around me and opened the door. There was no exhaust fan in this bathroom. So I walked to the mirror and I started brushing my teeth, and the mirror was in a 45 degree angle in the corner. And so from that mirror I could see the doorway if I looked at it, but I was just brushing my teeth, not paying attention, just spacing out, and I thought I saw someone in the doorway just peek their head in like this. Just real quick, just out of the corner of my eye, and I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was my brother or my dad, like, oh, someone's in the bathroom, and then they go to another bathroom in the house. So I continue brushing, and I see it, and I was like, oh, that's a little weird. All right, I'm gonna look at that spot in the mirror. So I'm staring at it, and I stopped brushing, and then just real quick, couldn't make out a face, a shape. I turned around, I think I said hello, and from the doorway, a figure ran from the doorway across the bathroom into the shower, which I cannot see into. So I'm standing there, frozen. When it ran across, the towel rack was hanging it was on the wall, and the towel hanging on there fell off as it ran across. And it was just another thing in my head that I saw and could look at and say oh, something happened, something real happened. And every hair on my body was standing up, and I was trying to debate on what to do. I was like, do I walk out the door? Do I run out the door and turn my back? What do I do? So I just walked up to the shower, just walked up to it, grabbed onto the side, and looked inside, and nothing in there. It was just a stand-up shower. I stepped into it, I touched the walls, because I was completely confused and scared. I was very scared.
We talked about, I remember when you discussed this story with me first time, we talked about steam, how couldn't have possibly been that much steam. You'd been out of the bathroom at that point for a good while. I think you said you were...
Yeah, I could see in the mirror very clearly. There was no fog on the mirror at that point.
Yeah.
So.
Another interesting thing that you told me about this house is that you did a little digging and you found out that no one had ever passed away in this house. Is that correct?
That's right.
And getting that information from Thomas back there. And he also told me that you maybe have some theories about what it was that you actually saw in perspective to the space-time thing.
I have no idea what it was, but I've done a lot of speculation because I'm sure I saw something. I don't think it was a ghost. When I was 12 and knew nothing about anything, I assumed it was evil and demonic because it was terrifying. It was just what people refer to as shadow people. It had no real form except that it was cloaked in completely black. And looking into things, reading a bunch of stuff, I don't know. I think it could have been something trans-dimensional maybe that needed to get from point A to point B and had to risk being seen, and it did it. Or
that's very, very interesting.
Yeah, or it was some sort of projection from my psyche and some sort of embodied hallucination from the deep dark inside all of us.
That's wild. That's a great thought too. It's very interesting to think about, how everyone experiences these things differently, and we're all left with questions after the fact. So that's so interesting. I knew that you would do some thinking and some following up after we talked about it the first time. because it's incredible. We've got somebody back here
I got a question.
raising a hand.
Tell me about Pendleton, Indiana. This place seems spooky.
It's very boring, tiny, rural town
What's the
north
spookiest?
north of Indianapolis. Just and the house wasn't anything spectacular. An old house, but I was questioning my grandparents after this. Like, my dad, shortly after I screamed or something, I made a noise, and my dad came up shortly after, caught me in the shower, like feeling the walls. It was like,
So your dad,
everything okay?
Your dad can corroborate the idea that this was
Yes.
something that he experienced the aftermath of.
That's
in
right.
Norway.
Yeah, I think at the time he thought I was just losing my mind and was just like trying to ignore that.
I think it scared him probably a little bit too.
Yeah,
About,
although things went right back to normal. You know, everyone was happy to just like brush it to the side, and
Well,
it was always a creepy house, like at night going to sleep.
25
so
years
nothing
later,
changed there, yeah.
25 years later, you and I are still talking about it, so it must mean something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
And I think
it's-
there's so many examples of how like I will have seen something with somebody, and then like moments later we go back to talking about whatever we were talking about prior to that had nothing to do with our very strange experience that we just had. So I'm sure that your dad, that kind of lingered with him. I'm sure it had to, because that would creep me out if a kid came to me and said, "Hey, I mean, number one, it's you trust your child to tell you something that's."
My dad is the cagiest individual
Yeah.
I've ever known in my life, so I get the sense that he's seen some stuff, but I'll never get that from him.
Jerome, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you,
so
Jeff.
good.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.